Grand Rising, good morning. Let's see if this works out here. Sunrise, live stream inspired this morning from a beautiful, peaceful coffee side, fresh rain. Oh, it smells delectable. That fresh rain smell. In the grass, in the trees. Ah, I love it. Grand Rising, welcome to an inspired sunrise live stream. I still have not totally adjusted to the time zone, and I keep waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, so I just get up and I start working on things. And I woke up thinking about this topic, so I thought, all right, I'll just go live. It's gonna be a great one, so lean in, friends and family, on this theme. This right here could give birth to multiple books and films. It's that potent and meaty and meaningful. And was inspired by my recent trip to India. Now, this is my second time to India, and although I didn't spend as much time exploring as I'd like, I will be back. I have told many of my friends in India, I said, it could take lifetimes to explore your country properly. There's so much. It's so rich with history and diversity and color and vibrancy, and just so much to explore. And I look at this beautiful little planet that we're on. Now I've been to 43 countries, and there's still far more to explore. And I think, I mean, what you could do in one lifetime, right? This is just one planet in an infinite multiverse. So we've got the sun coming up over here, beautiful morning. And here is the inspired topic. I was thinking about, like, who would you be? Would you know who you are past your circumstances or without your circumstances, without maybe your title, your assets, your home, your materials, your reputation? Would you know who you are? Would you value yourself? So first up, I want to share a little story from India. Every morning, because it was so hot, I mean, we're talking easy 110, feels like 120. I'm not blowing this out of, no exaggeration. And it was so hot, the locals were like, can't do it. So if you could, like, go out before 10 in the morning, and then you don't go back out, ideally, until after 6 in the evening. That's how hot it was. And I hadn't adjusted yet, okay? I can adjust. I lived in Bali off and on for 5 years in Southeast Asia, and got adjusted to the humidity and heat there, so much so that if the weather went under 80 degrees, I had to put on a jacket. That's how fast I adjusted. Hi, Maria. Oh yeah, say hi, where are you joining from? Welcome to my beautiful backyard and the sun coming up here. We're gonna enjoy this freshness, this fresh rain that just happened. Oh, the wafting smells so good. I am highly inspired and stimulated by scent. Maybe you are too. And there's certain smells that just really resonate. And a fresh rain, it's just glorious. It's bliss. That smell is bliss for me right now. Anyway, so every morning I go out early before the streets were full of chaos, and before I could actually tolerate, it's gotta be like 90, 95 in the morning. And I go across the street to this little vendor, and they would make me a fresh mango smoothie. Hey, Carl, welcome. Yes, say hi, where you're joining. Carl's from Wisconsin. Look at this, Carl, this beautiful backyard. This is the time to be in Wisconsin right now. Anyway, so I had to go across the street to get this smoothie, which I really looked forward to, because it was great. India has some of the best mangoes in the world. I would say between India and Mexico, and mango is my all-time favorite fruit. I just made another mango lassi this morning. I can't get enough. So between India and Mexico, I'm going to say India wins. Best mangoes in the world. I mean, they're just delectable beyond recognition. They're so good. And I would see these women I don't know how old. They probably looked a lot older than they were because of the harshness of their life and jobs. These older women that would be out in the street sweeping the worst, grossest trash and cleaning it up. Garbage collection, like, I mean, the worst, gross, like the grossest of gross. I mean, it was really dirty where in my neck of the woods where I was staying, and I remember they had their faces covered, and I remember thinking, like, if they were still in the untouchable caste system. I know legally that caste system has been abolished, but socially it still exists. So now it's called Dalit, a Dalit, like an oppressed person who has the worst job, the lowest lifespan usually, because of their job is so hard and so trying, and they live in some of the most harsh environments in India. And I've always been like curious about the caste system and let's call them the untouchables, because here's the thing: even though they have a lesser lifespan because probably less access to really healthy food and environment, and they do the hardest jobs that there are, the grossest, hardest jobs. Namaste, Sanjay. How are you? I'm always curious to know how happy they are. Do they have a sense of true self-worth and happiness? How the sun's coming through. Beautiful. Or do they, because of their caste system, their born identity, I guess, the identity was given to them, their lot in life, and the harshness of their lives, do they feel downtrodden? Do they not value themselves? Because I have been all over the world. I've lived on 3 continents, and I can tell you I have seen some of the happiest children and adults who are the poorest, who have seemingly nothing. Children playing in the dirt with sticks, having the best time of their lives. I mean, it warms my heart to even share that. I have seen such a paradox where I've seen wealthy, extremely wealthy people all over the world as well, and I've known some of them. So I've been in their homes and seen how they live. People with jets and lots of properties and all kinds of stuff, and they're unhappy, and they can't fill the void by trying to get more and more and more. They don't know who they are. They don't approve of themselves. They're unfulfilled. It's like they cannot fill this void with more money, more materialism, more things. Isn't that interesting, right? To see extreme poverty, but they're happy, they're content, they're fulfilled with their lives. And the opposite, where people with seemingly so much wealth and things are extremely unfulfilled, unhappy. I find this so interesting. And there's one of my favorite movies, and I would say this movie, most people probably even haven't heard of it. I like it for the social and psychological experiment and I watch it every year, a couple times a year, and the movie's called Trading Places, with Eddie Murphy and another SNL character. I forget his name right now. Also, anyway, that doesn't matter. But the premise of the film matters. Basically, it takes one spoiled, self-entitled, Ivy League, just spoiled from birth, raised to be this captain of industry man, and he's, I think it's there in Philadelphia, and everything has been given to this guy. And he's been groomed his whole life to take over businesses and this and that. And he's just been given everything. He even has his own manservant living with him, doing everything for him. And he's snobby and snotty and self-entitled and looks down on everybody. And just I think he did a really good job playing that part. I know people like that. And no judgment. And then Eddie Murphy plays a guy that's he's a hustler on the street, doesn't have much, ends up in jail a lot. You know, he's quick with his mind, he's resourceful, but he's been raised, you know, at the lower end of the stick, so to speak, you know, raised in poverty, and he's you know, chosen the life of hustling on the street, right? Anyway, so these two extremely wealthy guys that like run the New York Stock Exchange, they have, you know, seats on there, they have massive wealth, and that's all they care about is creating more wealth. And they're bachelors in their 70s, they're brothers, and they also are snooty, they look down on everyone, you know, and they're hiring this character that I'm telling you about, the one that's been groomed in their company. They're hiring him, and they don't really like him because, I don't know, just like, he's been given everything. I mean, total self-entitlement. And so they decide to play this crazy social experiment. I'm giving this movie away. Where they trade places with these guys. And they arrange it all where they have the snooty guy in business discredited, all his credit cards, his money, everything wiped out, kicked out of his house, no more manservant or driver, all his belongings taken away. And then completely his reputation ruined publicly. And they take Eddie Murphy, the guy from the street, they get him like straight out of jail, he's coming out of jail, and they put him in the other guy's place. So trading places, right? What a theme! I'm not going to give the whole movie away. You got to watch it. It's really good. It's called Trading Places. And it made me think a lot. Like, who would you be without your titles and your rank and maybe the caste system that you were born in? You're born into a wealthy family, or reputation, materials, you know, all of that. Like, who would you be without your cars, your big house, your belongings, your clothes? How much people identify with these things, right? With their status in life, with their title, with their companies that they've created, or, you know, whatever it is. If all of that was being stripped away, who would you be? Would you know who you are? Would you still know your value? And this is like a really fascinating theme. Because a lot of people, without even knowing it, their identity is tied to their titles, their ranks, how they were born, what's, you know, where they were born in the hierarchy. How many houses do they have, and cars, and things, and toys? Maybe their identity is attached to having like a hot spouse, or successful children. All these things that identities or misidentities get attached to. And good morning, Ingeborg. Nice to see you. Hey, now you can comment. Because it made me start thinking, like, what if I took one of these untouchables that I saw on the street there doing like the worst jobs in India and put him somewhere like in my neighborhood? It's comfortable, you know, nice homes, property, people have multiple cars, garages, toys, this, that. And then, like, what would that change who they were deeply inside their, who they were? Would that change? Would they have more value? Would they be happier, less happier? Like, I don't know. Like, I think about these things. And then what if you took somebody from my neighborhood and put them in one of the most, like, trading places, impoverished places in India to live extremely, like, beyond humbly, very meagerly? Like, how would that change their identity, if it would? Would they still know who they were? Would they still value themselves? Or would the environment eventually get to their identity? These are just brilliant questions as I am writing my first book, one of many, and I actually just discovered 3 more books. I'm really into writing right now. By the way, the first book now is, I accelerated the timeline. My projected launch is Thanksgiving this year. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to blow your mind. It is raw, real, revelatory, all of it. And it is meant to transform the reader through the process. It's not a book that you necessarily read. It's a book that you become. It's an emotional journey. And that's something else right there. I'll share more about this. It's intentional. It's intentional for transformation, for oneness, to get in deep, deep, not, and I just gotta say this, a lot of books I see these days, they're empty, they're flat, they're soulless. So bringing people back to the hero's journey and actually living like a movie in your heart and your mind, that's what I'm creating right now. And because, let's just face it, humans have such a low attention span. I mean, people still do read books. Imagine that, print books. We're going to be changing that dynamic and helping them get back to the power of focus and using the power of their imagination through the books that I create. So back to like the hero's journey, when the hero returns, and the question is that we've been delving into deep is, does the environment that no longer resonates, or they've changed so much, they've transformed so much in their journey, they come home, the hero returns, it's like, it's the same Groundhog Day, there's no judgment, it's the same things going on, people with their lives, they're the same, everything's the same, but the hero, the protagonist, is so different, and they feel like a foreigner coming back, an alien, in their own town, or village, or home, or city, because they've changed so much, and so they're not, the frequency is not resonant anymore. That's why I say the hero needs other heroes. Pilgrims know this from the Camino. If you've ever been to a big workshop or festival or retreat, and you just have tangible transformation and change, I mean, it's like you're in a different world. You become somebody different, better. Oh, hi from Norway. Hey, we hit the old continent. Great. Good morning to you. What is it, 7 hours there different? So good afternoon. I like to hit at least several continents in a live stream. Now let's go for Africa or Asia. Oh no, we Sanjay's in India. So we are minimum three continents already on this one live stream. Anyway, does the change get baked in, marinated, truly embodied in the hero, or do they collapse and revert back to their old self because their environment is just so familiar and comfort zone, and the people and patterns and all that, even if they don't resonate anymore, it doesn't feel like the job, some of the people, friends, people around them, that even spouses, like, that's how big people transform. And then they come back to their old environment. Do they get sucked into that and go back, collapse back, or do they embody the transformation and carry that forward? So that's why I'm like asking these questions about environment and identity. And who are you without your things and your circumstances? Do you know? Would you collapse back if all of it was taken away? Or do you know who you are? Something I did that was shocking to everybody I know. In 2013, when I was living in San Francisco, I'm not going to go hold that whole story. Selling real estate, living on Russian Hill, fancy clothes. Like, I was in high heels in San Francisco. Imagine that. And had things, nice things, and I was not resonant. It was completely misaligned with the new version that was being birthed. Actually, more of like a quantum leap of Amie Chilson. My soul was calling me to the call to adventure, to evolve, to change, to transform, and I could not be in that same environment or identity. Good afternoon, and lovely to be here. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Hey, look at that beautiful sunrise here. I wanted to share that with you. That's why I keep it here in the frame. But I feel like walking around. So I was called, and in this sense, I was stubborn. Normally, I'm running out the door like Bilbo Baggins. I'm going on an adventure. I am chasing the call to adventure. I'm ahead of it. In this case, I was not. And I was given so many clues and signs and wake-up calls that this is not you anymore. Not the environment, not the identity. It's not you. you are being called to step into something bigger, or like I said, quantum leap into something bigger and more true, more aligned. And so I had to have some some really big wake-up calls. Shocking, startling. At the moment, I felt painful. I mean, really painful. And now in retrospect, I'm just like, that's what I needed to shake me out of my stupor. And I did. I pulled a 180. I gave away my belongings, like 95% of what I had. And I traded in the business suits and the 5-inch stiletto heels for flip-flops and board shorts and hat and like no makeup. I became this backpacking nomad, filmmaker, writer, and I did that for 6 years perpetually around the world. And I had a backpack with hardly anything in it. I mean, I literally downsized, gave away almost everything that I owned. I wanted to know who I was without being attached or any identifications or misidentifications with material or status or where I lived or home or title, any of that. And the truth is, I was even happier and more peaceful with less. I felt unburdened. Sometimes people don't realize that their accumulation of things, the things start owning them. And what a liberation for me, what freedom to travel the world, having all these amazing experiences and documenting it so I could share it with you real time. Like, I didn't even have like a good camera. I was just using what I had to document and film and capture it. And I was so happy with a backpack with not many things. And that version of me was peaceful and calm and happy. And so I flourished in that experiment. And right now, you could take everything that I have. And I have chosen not to accumulate a lot. I'm choosing a small footprint for this era of my life. You could take it all. You could actually I've gone another step further. Who am I without my intellectual property? Because I really value that. You could take all of my intellectual property. You could take it all. And I still know who I am. I still value who I am. That would not change. My level of happiness still would remain the same. And peace. And so I find this, don't you see, like, we need to create more films or video series about this. Like, it's just fascinating. Like, look at lottery winners, right? If somebody was low income and then all of a sudden they win the lottery, their identity, their inner world has not caught up with the new external world environment. And a lot of lottery winners end up blowing all their money in the first year because they don't feel worthy of it. The same goes for, like, if you look at people who, lose a lot of weight or have one of those surgeries or plastic surgery or whatever. They didn't think that they were attractive, and now all of a sudden, like, I'm fit or I look good to what society says good is. But their inner world hasn't caught up to the external, right, environment. So it makes me wonder, so their self-esteem does not match what they perceive as that they look like. I find all of these from like a psychological and social experimentation fascinating. Because it's a reflection back to us, like back to the hero's journey. Like, who are you? If you were to lose it all, if you were to completely change and come back to your old environment, is that new transformation of that different self, that better self, transformed, evolved self, baked in? Is it embodied? Is it marinated enough to withstand whatever next environment you're faced with? I contemplate these things a lot, and it's like a brain tease for me. I enjoy it. Because this helps us, fellow souls, look within themselves. Really question, like, who am I? Like, if it all was taken away, would I still be, value myself? Would I still have my self-worth and know who I am? and be happy and peaceful. Some people would. I'm an example of that in my own way. Some people would collapse. They'd want to die. They wouldn't want to live anymore because their attachment of their identities or misidentity to things or rank or title or appearances, right? That's where they put their worth, so they really don't know who they are. Anyway, I enjoy contemplating these topics and more on the hero's journey, the hero returns, which is the exact part of the cycle, the stage that I'm in right now. And it turns out a lot of people are resonating with this theme because they have gone on their own adventures or world exploration or retreats, workshops, festivals, and you're gone for 3 days, a week, a month, pilgrims on the Camino, and you come back changed, different, like palpably different, more freedom, more understanding and insight of who you truly are, more power. And so when you come back and you're faced with the old environment and identities and people actually expecting you to be that old identity, and you're not, you're renegotiating with your former life, former identity. You're renegotiating your social contracts or agreements with people, and usually they don't like it. You need to be this old version of self. That's not me anymore. So, oh, did you hear that? My stomach's growling. Time to eat some breakfast. Anyway, if you're watching this on the replay, I would love to hear your insights here. There is a treasure trove of books and film series just within this sub-theme or themes thematically. I mean, it is just rich to explore. I have like a whole list of ideas coming forth. If you want some of these ideas, because I'm not going to be able to execute them all, you can have them. It's to be of service to our fellow soul, so why not? I'm not going to sit on my big fat pile of ideas. I want to share it. Let's get it out into the world. Let's get it working. And all of this is not meant to be just some nice sounding philosophy. Nay, this is inspired action that we take. And that's where the growth happens. That's where the transformation, the evolution truly happens, is we got to get messy and chaotic and get in there. Like how I immerse myself in my travel. I don't stay at some nice fancy hotel the whole time and never go out. And no, I want to get in there. I want to see how people live. I want to get messy and immersed without losing who I am. Ingeborg, you say, I've lost all my belongings and thriving nonetheless too. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Hey, another example right there. You probably have a really amazing story. So hang tight with me, because these are stories that I want to illustrate to the world through film. I mean, the film is just so, when done right, compelling, dynamic. And not everybody will read a book, but they'll watch a movie if it's done properly. And there's just infinite amounts of films that will really not only just touch people right where it needs to, but inspire them to take action and create change in their lives. And that's from all the content and things that I create, all my creation. It is the desire behind that it's infused with, is to inspire people to take action and make change in their lives. More there. Anyway, thanks for joining me. This is kind of like I woke up really early this morning. Get up and do a nice little sunrise live stream for you, because this is what I've been thinking about. Yeah, and I'd love your insights, whether you want to share them here privately or publicly, or drop them into a DM. That's fine too. Can you tell I'm excited about life? I am activated. I am on fire. I am just loving this part of the journey and sharing it with you. So have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world, or evening, afternoon. Mwah, much love, and I'll see you on the next video.